This is how Teen Titans begins and ends. Teen Titans Go, it must be said, is a reboot hated by many and loved by few. Despite this, it is currently one of the most popular shows on Cartoon Network, with 7 seasons still in production. The Teen Titans animated series was created by Glenn Murakami and debuted on Cartoon Network in 2003. The show ran for 5 seasons and a total of 65 episodes.
1, 2, 3, 4, go! Teen Titans!
The show follows the adventures of the Teen Titans, a group of superheroes comprised of Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Raven, as they fight crime in Jump City. Together they must solve all kinds of situations caused by the most fearsome villain, or even, as is often the case, some disasters caused by themselves. Unfortunately, due to its episodic nature, where not necessarily one episode follows the story of the other, it is difficult to know where it all begins. The series was originally planned to have 6 seasons, but it was cancelled after 5 due to declining rates. However, there is something I can assure you of, and that is that the show is full of humor, wit, and action, making it a fun and entertaining watch for both kids and adults alike. Throughout this video, I promise to change your view of the series, and with that being said, let's begin. In the first episode, the Titans go on an absolutely important mission, where each one has to split up to achieve the mission of getting the legendary sandwich. Okay, I know I said I was going to change your opinion of the series, and we're not starting off on a good foot, but don't worry, it will change. From the beginning, this series is based on ridiculous adventures. Even as a fun fact, in the first episode, the characters are not introduced, and it is assumed that we already know them from the comics, or more importantly, from the previous series. Sometimes the ridiculousness of the series can be entertaining, but most of the time it crosses the line of being unpleasant. That's why making a serious critique of the episode structure is almost impossible. There are episodes focused on teaching about the value of the market and compound interest, and other episodes are much more random, like one where the joke is literally Beast Boy and Cyborg saying waffles the entire episode. In other words, the stories are so convoluted that if you replace the Titans with, let's say, Scooby-Doo, the series could still work the same way. Many of the problems are not specific to superheroes, but rather everyday things, which is why they're rarely used to the advantage of establishing stories or plots such as Robin's parents, Cyborg's origin, or Starfire. Most of the time they make references or satires of themselves or pop culture at the time. And that's almost the entire first season. The important thing is that the series continues, and as we said, it has 7 seasons. In the following episodes, we see that there are confirmed existences of a multiverse and alternate timelines. They also make fun of people who complain that they're not being serious enough, dedicating a whole episode to being serious, aptly named Serious Business. However, starting from the 3rd season, the plot changes with the appearance of special episodes and important collaborations, such as when the Teen Titans go to the Justice League headquarters and transform into the superheroes they admire. They also have to try to rescue them from Darkseid, one of the most important villains in the DC universe. As I said, the important events are there, just hidden in obscure episodes such as Legs Day, where they only train their legs, and Lady Legacy, Raven's alter ego, appears. She would reappear in later seasons as a superhero who only fights using kicks. I understand why some people might be put off by the series, as it is often ridiculous and bizarre. But the 3rd season's episode 40-40-20, yes, the name is strange, is the most highly rated by fans and critics. Here, Cyborg, motivated by music and the search for his friends, embarks on a psychedelic journey where rhythm and epicness are fundamental. These kind of episodes show how, despite the mediocre and bizarre nature of the series, interesting situations can be constructed by not having to follow a specific story or rules. In this universe, the creators can basically do whatever they want, allowing them to experiment with animation and interesting concepts. The series continues with episodic plots and some small specials, such as showing how the Titans got their tower, or when they go on vacation. Well, I told you they could do whatever they want with the universe, so let them pass it. That's all worth mentioning from a series of over 360 episodes. I only managed to highlight a few attempts they made with their plot, which were somewhat tragic. Honestly, you probably won't like the series, but there's something that has much more substance, and that's its movies. In 2018, Teen Titans Go would hit the cinemas, and from the onset, we'd notice a clear change in the animation style. They decided to remove the serious tone and instead embrace their cartoonish style. Teen Titans Go created its personality, so it wouldn't even try to be a serious story like the old Teen Titans movies. Instead, this film is a kind of parody in the superhero genre. Let me summarize these movies for you. The story begins with a balloon monster attacking the city. Teen Titans arrive to stop it, but they are mistaken for the Justice League and begin to rap as a form of introduction. The monster takes advantage of this and escapes. But wait, before the monster can escape, the real Justice League arrives to stop it. Afterward, they tell the Titans that they can't stay because they have to go to Batman's movie premiere, because real heroes have movies. Guess who doesn't have a movie? That's right, the Teen Titans. Offended, the Titans go straight to Hollywood to see the movie. There they meet Slade Wilson, the film director who introduces the film and talks about how superheroes will have their own cinematic universe. Even the Bat-Belt will have a movie. Hurt by this, the Titans leave the theater and come to the conclusion that they can't be considered worthy of a movie because they don't have a supervillain. Almost casually, and for the sake of the plot, Deathstroke would attack Star Labs, and before stealing a crystal called Draconium, he would be stopped by the Titans. But they would confuse Deathstroke with Deadpool, and using mind manipulation, the villain would escape without a problem. This would depress them, as they would realize that the others were right. They aren't real superheroes. But it's a movie for kids, so no need to be too depressed. So, after a motivational song, they decide to go personally to Warner Brothers Studio to demand having a movie. We would see a lot of references and cameos, even a cameo of Stan Lee arriving with Slade Wilson, who was filming Batman vs. Superman. He would quickly deny Robin the opportunity to have a movie since he doesn't have an archenemy, and would mockingly say that the only way Robin could get a movie is if there were no other superheroes. So, as you can imagine, Raven uses her powers to summon time motorcycles, and they travel back in time to the planet Krypton to prevent it from exploding and Superman from having to come to Earth, thus making sure he doesn't exist in the future. They would then travel back in time to prevent the origins of the superheroes we all know. But upon returning to the future, while the superheroes had disappeared, the villains remained, and the world was in chaos, forcing them to restore everything back to normal. Oh, and wait for a second, how is it that Robin just sent Batman's parents to the gulag? Whatever. After this, they would come to the conclusion that in order for them to have a movie, they have to make Deathstroke their archenemy. They decide to confront him again in the middle of a chase, and the Titans would take away the crystal, the source of the villain's power, and store it in their tower. However, Robin would continue the pursuit, damaging Deathstroke's propeller, causing him to crash. But with his mental manipulation, Deathstroke would make Robin let him escape. The next day, the group would go to Warner Brothers Studios, and surprisingly, they would be allowed to enter without problems. I would say that they are ready to film the Young Titans movie, while Robin trusts that this will be his opportunity. The rest of the team is in their own world and take it lightly, causing all kinds of problems, from hitting the actor who plays Dextro to using a fake bathroom. Robin is visibly uncomfortable with their behavior and believes that if the rest of the team doesn't behave, they will lose their big chance. So he promises Slade that they will behave, and she trusts his word and goes to explore the place with Robin, while the others start causing problem after problem around the studio. Eventually, they stumble upon the Justice League building a doomsday device, so they confront the director to leave them alone. She tells them that it's just a chain to transmit superhero movies to the entire universe, and that doomsday was just an acronym for online rental movies with an optional numbered income. So that means Doomsday is a good anagram, and they realize their accusations were unfounded. That's why, due to the Titans' comments, Slade will cancel their movie, but make an exclusive film for Robin. The Young Titans protested, saying that their friend would never leave them behind, but Robin accepted the offer immediately, without thinking, arguing that despite his friend's good intentions, they always ended up ruining everything. So the best idea was for the group to separate. In this way, they went their separate ways, and Robin started filming his movie. After several gags that are not relevant, a girl carries the Young Titans sign, which causes sadness for Robin, making him want to call them just to see how they were doing. But Jade appears to clarify that they were actually fine, and that it was time to shoot the final part of the movie. For this scene, Robin should open the vault of the Young Titans headquarters where the crystal they took from Slade was stored. The hero was about to enter the code when suddenly a spotlight fell on his head, leaving him unconscious. Hours later, after recovering, Jade would tell him what happened, and that if he wanted, they could finish the scene tomorrow. But Robin refused and wanted to continue. Although he noticed something. The door looked different. Now, when Robin approached it, it scanned his face, something that did not always happen before the spotlight fell on his head. Jade insisted he continue the scene and put the real code of his vault to make it look more realistic. That's how Robin fulfilled what was expected. Although I think the audience believed that he was opening the real vault, meaning that it was Slade's plan with the crystal. Deathstroke would now be able to complete his mind manipulation device, and no one could stop him since the superheroes were simply making their movies while they were distracted filming. Slade stole valuable artifacts that were previously protected by them, and going to broadcast the movie on every screen in the world so everyone would fall under his control. Robin, knowing it was his fault, would call the Titans back to start what would be the great final battle, but they would arrive too late because the mind control device was ready. Now the Titans would have to face all the superheroes to stop Slade, but luckily, Raven was there and simply created a portal and everyone disappeared. No, but the thing wasn't over yet. They still had to defeat the giant robot their enemy had, and this time Raven's portal wouldn't be enough. With the portal out of the game, they would have to fight the old-fashioned way, demonstrating their real power, defeating Slade once and for all and breaking his mind control device. As a post-credits scene, we would see the old Titans sending a message for help, a scene that leads us to the next movie, Teen Titans. The universes of both series would clash, and they would be forced to fight each other for the Game Master's amusement. While the Titans from the 2003 series planned to buy time to find a way to escape by cooperating, the current Titans, much more immature, take the battle very seriously but are still outmatched. Everyone is eliminated except Raven, but when she gives up and loses interest in the fight, the Game Master rejects her desire to surrender. This causes Raven to become enraged, and the demon's gem on her forehead, which gives her powers, shatters and releases the being inside. After a fight where Raven eliminates all of the 2003 Titans, we learn that this is all a part of the villain Trigon's plan, or rather, the Trigons from both dimensions, saying that they would control the multiverse using the central world and the power of both Ravens. The two young Titans from different universes would have to make peace and agree on a plan to defeat their villains. Meanwhile, the Ravens escape to see what they find in the universe of the 2003 Titans and wait. The plan, in short, was to use the central world of the Titans Go dimension, but for that, they would have to take it from Santa Claus. I'm not making this up. Seriously. After a long fight, they would escape to another universe with the artifact in their possession, which would be the new 52 Titans universe. After traveling to other universes and seeing their different versions, they would lose sight of Santa Claus. But the Robin from 2003 would decide that they still can't save their friends because they would have to make a stop first. Meanwhile, in the 2003 universe, the Trigon from that universe would absorb Raven's power, and after an argument, the Trigon with a more evil appearance would absorb the Teen Titans Go Trigon, becoming Hexagon. The original Robin's plan was to bring all Titans in their different versions, so a battle would begin between Hexagon and all the Titans from all universes. Even so, his power was too great, and they would be defeated. So the Raven from the first series tells him that they must break the gem that contains the current Raven's powers, and to do so, she must absorb or literally eat all other Ravens. After doing so, she would become non-kindness, starting a much more even battle against Hexagon. But thanks to the central world, the villain remained powerful, so they used Robin as a bullet to destroy him and give the Ravens a chance to break the gem. This returned the power to the Ravens and the separate Trigons, so the battle was won. The Titans from all dimensions began to say goodbye to each other, to return to their universes, and after the farewell of the 2003 and current Titans, they should face Darkseid and his army arriving on Earth. However, since the Titans were tired and no longer wanted to continue filming the movie, it ends here. Also, the fact that the final episode of the Teen Titans was rather unfamiliar with its usual premise, which might shock some of you one way or another. In the last episode of Teen Titans, Beast Boy accidentally stumbles upon a schoolgirl who oddly looks exactly like Tara during a fight against a monster. This, of course, quickly flusters him as he heads to the Han Solo version of her from the end of Season 2, only to find out that, oh no, their statue is broken. Beast Boy is now pretty dang sure that the girl he saw today is Tara. The evidence leads him to believe so. It's plausible since Slade was resurrected. If Tara actually did die, maybe something happened to her as well to make her come back. The rest of the Titans can't think of how it was possible. None of them were powerful enough to do it. Was it related to how Slade came back? Or is it something completely different? These are the questions to answer that maybe Sway has. But you ain't got the answers, Sway. Never mind, he definitely doesn't have the answers. Beast Boy confronts who he believes has to be Tara and explains everything about what happened, showing her the room that she stayed in at the tower, how she was turned into stone, and talking about the silver-hearted shaped box that he had made for her, even bringing her to where they skipped rocks. This starts bringing back more painful, unexplained memories, causing her to swiftly leave the tower. She does, however, wish him luck in finding whom he thinks he is looking for, and that they may still be out there somewhere. Beast Boy isn't happy with how she isn't remembering, trying to pull out her original self, even going so far as to throw some mud on her to get her to use her powers again. But it doesn't work. She doesn't block the mud, and it gets all over her face, and now she just storms off.
Beast Boy heads to the mirror maze to come up with any clues leading to how Tara forgot everything, but he is quickly interrupted by Slade, who tells them that he has nothing to do with Tara, no involvement in who she is after coming back. This is what she chooses to be. Beast Boy gets emotional and attacks all of the mirrors, breaking them as he tries to attack Slade. He doesn't want him to hurt her anymore, but unfazed, Slade tells him that the only one who's hurting her is him, and he needs to let her go.
Beast Boy's powers go beyond what we usually see from him, thanks to his emotions, and he destroys Slade, or another one of his robot versions of himself at least. As he enters one final thing before shutting down, she doesn't want to see you anymore. Beast Boy reaches out to the schoolgirl one last time, and she at first brushes him off to make it to her class on time. But in an attempt to try and break through to them about their past and to come back to be with the Titans, after waiting around all day, trying everything he can between classes, she evades every situation every single time. That is until he finally convinces her in the library to go into the hall and speak with her, where he finally blurts out all of his confusion and begs her to just understand and explain it to him. But she says what he is saying was never true. Her name isn't Tara. Beast Boy's final effort is offering her his Titans communicator. She declines and tells Beast Boy that things change. She is no longer the girl that he once knew. Robin, who along with the rest of the Titans is dealing with the same creature from before, calls out to Beast Boy for some help in the fight. His tone becomes more defeated, begging one last time to come with him. But she tells him he is a Teen Titan, and that she isn't into fighting crime and saving the world. The bell rings and now she has to head to class. Even though the next part is hard from all the intimate moments they shared, the bond they had, in order to let her live the best life she could, free from danger and any of the complications that came before, even at the expense of his heart, he understands that he must let her go, but hold on to the thoughts of her as a reminder of the good within her, and find peace in knowing her path in life she now walks is for the best for her. She now slowly fades into the background as Beast Boy is left there alone to watch until the moment she finally disappears. He stands there for a moment, coping with reality before picking himself back up and telling Robin that he's on his way to help the fight. He runs down the hallway for our final shot of the episode, with himself coming to terms with the decision Tara, or not Tara, has made. And that's the end. The message here is that we all have to deal with change at some point in our lives, whether we want to or not. We might have regrets about the past, but dwelling on them won't help us move forward. Instead, we should focus on creating a better future for ourselves and embrace the opportunities that come our way. It's natural to want things to stay the same, but change is inevitable. It's what makes life exciting and unpredictable. We should be open to new experiences and possibilities even if they're different from what we're used to. By doing so, we can grow and learn, ultimately living a fulfilling life. Personally, I think Teen Titans Go has some good episodes, but their movies are better, where we definitely realize that this series is much more oriented towards parodying today's big productions and should not be taken seriously. They don't even take themselves seriously, which is why it's enjoyable and a good way to have fun and enjoy the references, or learn how compound interest works and pass finance. Who says you can't learn many things from a cartoon? In the Teen Titans Go animated series, Beast Boy is portrayed as having a more carefree and comedic personality, often providing comedic relief in the show which gets us some kind of relaxation after what we have seen in the series. We can see Tara in some of the other movies after thus some kind of relaxation really as a character, but as some Easter egg version of her in the post-credits scenes and something more similar to that. On the other hand, the one where they're all in Japan makes it more about Robin and Starfire all over again, as it is filled with their romantic moments here and there all over the movie. The last one feels more like a romance movie rather than a superhero movie, which isn't bad, but yeah, it is less Teen Titans and more about two characters falling in each other's love again and again till the end, which gets annoying at some point if you're expecting a sequel of what you have seen the last time. Even though quite some time has passed since the last thing about the Teen Titans was released, there are still some people hoping that the golden days of the Teen Titans will be back once again to lighten our days again. It is possible that the show's fans might feel like their favorite cartoon rather than left them open out in the end, but there is a piece of good news for them actually. The way the show ended, in the end, means that there are several chances that the show will return once again. Nothing can be said for sure, but all I can say is that there are chances to formulate that fact. The show's creators have stated that they intentionally left the ending of the series ambiguous, so that fans could interpret it however they wanted, and that they would be open to revisiting the series in the future with a more expanded storyline.